We know that in the end, what was teased as the Clancy Ultimus Capitulus probably ended up as what we know today as Breach. But I've had this idea kind of bouncing around for a little while. What if we create kind of the ultimate final album for the story? Instead of it being a double album, what if it was all contained in one 14-track album? This isn't built necessarily off of just the best songs from each album, but the songs that would work together cohesively to end the story. So probably we'll see a lot of lore songs, and then also a couple of other songs that work together with those songs sonically. Overcompensate will begin this, and I think we can say, at least I'm going to say, even if you do disagree with this, that Drag Path has to end it. Now, where Intentions goes right now, I'm going to put it in the 13th place. I think that makes a lot of sense, but there might be a way we restructure that later. So I'm just gonna put that there for now. But then where things start to get a bit more complicated is how we build out the middle of this segment. I think City Walls would have probably been the midpoint of the record, like a turning point. See, that's sort of what I'm thinking, right? I definitely want to put Paladin Strait before City Walls. Paladin Strait has to go into City Walls. So to start off, I mean, I guess we can pull City Walls into, like, let's say here, and we can pull Paladin Strait to just above it. But we can move these up or down as needed, depending on how many songs go above and beneath. And this is important, and hold me to this because I'm probably going to be inclined to forget this. Songs off of Breach can go in between Overcompensate and Paladin Strait, and vice versa. Songs off of Clancy can go in between City Walls and Intentions. Okay, but let's think about this carefully, because, I mean, again, we can reorder stuff, we can throw some stuff in there and then move it around a bit. Definitely want Routines in the Night somewhere in there. And I agree City Walls probably will have to move down, because I think there's a bit more that comes before City Walls in the story, right? City Walls is clearly near the end. In fact, Paladin Strait, City Walls, Intentions, Drag Path may be how it ends. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, I'm going to put, I'm just going to start with this. We can move this. I'm going to start with Routines in the Night as track 2. And what if we do this, just for the time being? Imagine the story ending kind of with the sequence. Again, we can move this up slightly if we need to, if we want to put a song between City Walls and Intentions. And I think there definitely could be one there. So what if we put Routines in the Night and then Backslide? Again, we can put something else in between there. But then if we do Backslide, Vignette, Navigating, and the Contract. Let me know if you think this should be reordered. Oldie Station could very much be like the night before the final fight. You know what I mean? Something like that. See, I sort of like the idea of Tally going into Navigating, right, sonically. But I also wonder if those songs are a little too similar sonically. Let's see if I think I can just do this. Yeah. Okay. Yep. See, I don't know if I want to have Snapback and Backslide on there, which this may start a war, but I prefer Backslide, and I don't know if we need both because they're similar. Yeah, Backslide's really good, and it should be there, and it should sort of start, like him saying I don't want a Backslide should start the Backslide, right? Which I see Vignette kind of continuing that, and then the Contract kind of finalizing that, and then he's going into the kind of the final fight here. But in a sense, he knows what the outcome's going to be. I don't mind having Cottonwood. I just don't... Like, I know the song itself isn't actually lore-related. There are some ways in which you could interpret it as a lore song, and I certainly like looking at it through the lens of the lore, but I don't know if it really works. And again, it doesn't have to just be lore songs on this either, but I think we've already filled up a ton of slots. See, I don't hate this. Garbage, the Contract, One Way. Right, One Way into Oldie Station. Again, kind of One Way and Oldie Station being 2 night before songs, right? So, okay, we filled out this track list already, right? But we can move some things around, like the latter half a lot, right? Like kind of definitely Oldie Station onwards. The final 7 songs, so like the B-side is, I think, is solid. Pull Navigating, either move it somewhere else or just pull it entirely and then move these down. But now we need something to replace Navigating. And I don't think I'm going to go with Snapback. Should the Contract be track number 2 or track number 3? See, the reason why I'm thinking of having kind of the Contract and Routines in the Night close together is because the Contract talks about, closing the windows and the doors and all that. And then Routines is like walking through the layouts of a house at night where all the windows are closed. Also, I think the end of the contract could go very well into Routines of the Night. So it's just if the contract Routines of the Night into Backslide is too similar and we want to put something after Routines of the Night that isn't Backslide. And what we could do is one way into navigating. Overcompensate into the contract, into Routines of the Night, to Backslide, into Garbage, to Vignette, one way, navigating, Oldie Station, Paladin Strait, City Walls, Tally, Intentions, and Drag Path. All right, with that being said, that's kind of the track list that we came up with for the Clancy Ultimus Capitulus, or the end of the story, the final album of the story if it were all one album instead of split into two.